Hello, my dear student. Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Saleh Ahmad Tahlil, Assistant Professor of Department of Cardiology. Today, we are going to discuss on a topics on heart failure. Before going to our main discussion, it is better to know about the definition of heart failure. The definition is heart failure describes the clinical syndrome that develops when the heart cannot maintain an adequate cardiac output. The heart pumps blood inadequately, leading to reduced blood flow, backup, congestion of blood in the veins and lungs, and other changes that may further weaken the heart. Now comes to the classification systems. Before going to the main discussion, it is better to know about the classification system which is used in all over the world, which is New York Heart Association NYHA functional classification, which is start from 1 to class 4. Another one is American Heart Association stages heart failure from stage A to stage D. From American Heart Association classification system, they divide the heart failures, classified the heart failure into stages 1, stage B, stage C, and stage D. Stage A is patient is at high risk for heart failure, but without structural heart disease or symptoms of heart failure. Stage B, patient with structural heart disease, but without signs and symptoms of heart failure. Stage C, patient with structural heart disease with prior or current symptom of heart failure. Stage D, patient with refractory heart failure requiring specialized intervention. From New York Heart Association, class 1, that is mild. Patient symptoms are no limitation of physical activity. Ordinary physical activity does not cause undue fatigue, rapid irregular heartbeat, or shortness of breath. Class 2, it is also mild form of heart failure. That is, the symptoms are slight limitation of physical activity, comfortable at rest, but ordinary physical activity result in fatigue, rapid irregular heartbeat, that is called palpitation, and shortness of breath. Class 3, moderate, marked limitation of physical activity, comfortable at rest, but less than ordinary activity causes fatigue, rapid, irregular heartbeat, or shortness of breath. Class 4, that is severe form of heart failure. When it occurs, then patient is unable to carry out any physical activity without discomfort. Symptoms of fatigue, rapid or irregular heartbeat, that is palpitation, or shortness of breath are present at rest. If any physical activity is undertaken, discomfort increase. Now comes to the mechanism of heart failure. Mechanism of heart failures, which causes the way heart failure occurs. The causes are reduced ventricular contractility, ventricular outflow obstruction, ventricular inflow obstruction, ventricular volume overload, arrhythmia, and diastolic dysfunction. In case of reduced ventricular contractility, it is caused by myocardial infarction, myocarditis, cardiomyopathy, etc. In case of ventricular outflow obstruction, the examples are hypertension, aortic stenosis, and pulmonary hypertension, pulmonary valve stenosis. Ventricular inflow obstruction causes mitral stenosis and tricuspid stenosis. Ventricular volume overload due to ventricular septal defect, right ventricular volume overload, and increased metabolic demand, high output. Case of arrhythmia, that is atrial fibrillation, tachycardiomyopathy, and complete heart block. Diastolic dysfunction. In case of diastolic dysfunction, the examples are constrictive pericarditis, restrictive cardiomyopathy, left ventricular hypertrophy, and fibrosis of cardiac temperament. This is the vicious cycle of heart failure. It is caused by neurohormonal activation and compensatory mechanism of heart failure. Factors that may precipitate or aggravate heart failure in pre-existing heart disease. Myocardial ischemia or infarction, intercurrent illness, that is infection, arrhythmia, such as atrial fibrillation, inappropriate reduction of therapy, that is the medication that is used in cardiac disease, like ISD, ischemic heart disease, and previous heart failure. Administration of drug with negative inotropic, such as beta blocker or fluid retaining properties, like taking NSAIDs and corticosteroids. Pulmonary embolism, condition associated with increased metabolic demand, that is the pregnancy, thyrotoxicosis, anemia. Last of all is IV fluid overload, that is postoperative IV infusion. Now comes to the risk factors, which increase the chances of heart failure. The heart failure risk factors are primary risk factors and contributing risk factors. Primary risk factors are coronary artery disease and advancing ages. Contributing risk factors are hypertension, diabetes, tobacco use, obesity, high serum cholesterol, African American descent, valvular heart disease, and hypervolemia. Comes to the clinical manifestation of acute decompensated heart failure. Physical findings are orthopnea, dyspnea, and tachypnea, use of accessory muscle of respiration, cyanosis, cool and clammy skin, S3 gallop rhythm, cough with 40 and blood-tinged sputum, breath sound will comes to you will hear like crackles, wheezes, and bronchi will appear, tachycardia, hypertension, or hypertension. The clinical scenario of a left-sided heart failure patient. There would be paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, restlessness, confusion may occur, elevated pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, cough, crackles, wheezes, blood-tinged sputum, orthopnea, tachypnea, and exertional dyspnea, cyanosis. All this happened in left-sided heart failure. The scenario of a left-sided heart failures, the patient might come with these symptoms like shortness of breath, swelling of feet and leg, chronic lack of energy, the patient becomes fatigued, difficulty in sleeping at night due to breathing problem. Most of the patient will come with these symptoms. If you ask the questions, the patients will answer this. That it is really difficult for them to sleep at night due to shortness of breath. They have to wake up from bed. Swollen or tender abdomen with loss of appetite is one of the late complications of this. Cough with frothy sputum, increased urination at night, confusion and or impaired memory. Comes to the right heart failures with the sign and symptom which appears in case of right heart failure. Sign and symptoms. Signs and symptoms are fatigue, weakness, lethargy, weight gain, increased abdominal gut, anorexia, right upper abdominal quadrant pain, elevated neck veins, hepatomegaly, may not see, may not see sign of LVF, but right, right heart failure can be occurs without having left ventricular failure. That's the meaning of the point. Is clinical scenario could be like this: the patient would be fatigue, peripheral venous pressure will increase, ascites will appear, enlarged liver spleen, distended jugular veins, anorexia and complaints of GI distress, swelling of hand and legs, and dependent edema. One thing we all want to know that it is possible to develop right ventricular heart failure without having left ventricular failure. Yes, it is possible, and that what we call is that the term is used in um, medical cases, the core pulmonary. Now let us know the what is core pulmonary. Core pulmonary or right-sided heart failure is an enlargement of right ventricle due to high blood pressure in the lung, usually caused by chronic lung disease. That is, the heart failure occurs due to lung causes. That usually affect the right ventricle. So, clinical feature of left and right failure are like this. In case of right heart failure, raised JVP, the liver will increase hepatomegaly and the fluid will appear in the abdomen, that is called ascites, peripheral pitting edema. In case of left heart failure, the signs and symptoms are raised JVP, pulmonary edema, cardiomegaly, pleural effusion, and pitting edema. Keys to understanding heart failure. Legs, ankles, and feet is a very vital symptoms that we will find in case of heart failure, which is help us to guide us to diagnose the heart failure as well. Legs, ankles, and feet. Blood from feet and legs, backup of fluid and pressure in these areas as heart unable to pump blood as promptly as received. Increased fluid within feet and legs, pedal and dependent edema, and increase in weight. This is the distended or elevated jugular vein. Now comes to the diagnostic test which we are using in heart failure diagnose. Heart failure diagnostic test initial lab workup includes the test which we would like to do initially is ECG, chest X-ray, complete blood count, urine analysis, serum electrolytes including calcium and magnesium, blood urea nitrogen, and serum creatinine, glucose, fasting lipid profile, liver function test, thyroid stimulating hormone, cardiac troponin, beta natriuretic peptide, that is popularly known as BNP, arterial blood gas analysis ABG. Including all of these, also ensure a cardiac scan, non-invasive scan like echocardiography will be done is very useful and should be considered in all patients with heart failure in order to determine the etiology, detect hitherto unsuspected valvular heart disease such as occult mitral stenosis, other condition that may be amenable to specific remedies, identify patients who will benefit from long-term drug therapy. This is the chest X-ray of a normal patient. This is the chest X-ray of a normal patient. When the heart failure occurs, as we have already mentioned earlier, we have already earlier mentioned that the pulmonary edema will happen occur in uh, left ventricular failure, especially. And the chest X-ray will appear like this. The findings will be here: reticular shadowing of alveolar edema, prominence of upper lobe blood vessels such as the like deer horn. The blood vessels, upper lobe blood vessels will become prominent, really like the horn of a deer. Enlarged hilar vessels. The hilar vessels will become prominent here. Septal or Carlis B lines will appear in place of left ventricular failure and enlarged cardiac shadow, usually with coexisting chronic heart failure. The Carlis B lines are like this. There is a horizontal line will appear in the lower zone of the lung. You can see if you clearly see the picture, then you will see it very clearly. There is a distinguished line horizontally known as Carlis B line, a sign of heart failure. You will find it in chest X-ray. These are the these are the normal uh, normal heart structure. Normally, which if we take a cut section of a normal heart, then we will see this. This is the normal feature of the heart. And when the heart failure occurs, if we take the cut section of the diseased heart, then we will see the changes of this heart. The wall become thin. The internal structure will might be some disease like mitral valvular disease, some aortic stenosis we may find there. This is the ventricular remodeling. We have already mentioned that a normal heart condition and due to ventricular remodeling, what happens here? Comes to the general measures for the management of heart failure, which is the education, explanation of nature of disease, treatment, and self-help strategies to the patient, diet, good general nutrition, and weight reduction for the obese patient, evidence of high salt food and added salt, especially for patients with severe congestive heart failure, moderation moderation or elimination of alcohol consumption. Alcohol-induced cardiomyopathy requires abstinence. That means that in case of cardiomyopathy, alcohol should be avoided. Smoking should be cessations. Exercise, regular moderate aerobic exercise within limit of symptoms. Vaccination, consider influenza and pneumococcal vaccination. Management of acute pulmonary edema. This is an acute medical emergency, so you have to manage it promptly. Sit the patient up sit the patient up to reduce pulmonary congestion. Give oxygen, high flow, higher concentration, non-invasive positive pressure ventilation, continuous positive pressure of 5 to 10 millimeter mercury by a tight-fitting face mask result in a more rapid clinical improvement. Administer nitrates such as IV glyceryl trinitrate or buccal glyceryl trinitrate 2 to 5 milligram titrated upward every 10 minutes until clinical improvement occurs or systolic blood pressure falls to less than 110 millimeter of mercury. Administer of loop diuretics such as furosemide is a very crucial drug. The symptoms will improve after giving this. The patient should initially be kept rested with continuous monitoring of cardiac rhythm, BP, pulse oximetry. Intravenous opioid must be used sparingly in distressed patients as they may cause respiratory depression and exacerbation of hypoxemia and hypercapnia. If these measures prove ineffective, inotropic agent may be required to augment cardiac output, particularly in hypotensive patients. Insertion of an intra-aortic balloon pump may be beneficial in patients with acute cardiogenic pulmonary edema and shock. Now comes to the management of chronic heart failure. General measures. Education of patients and their relatives about the causes and treatment of heart failure can help adherence to the management plan. Some patients may need to weigh themselves daily as a measure of fluid load and adjust their diuretic therapy accordingly. Treatment of the underlying cause of heart failure, such as coronary artery disease, is important to prevent its progression. Drug therapy. Cardiac function can be improved by increasing contractility, optimizing preload, or decreased afterload. Drugs that reduce preload are appropriate in patients with high end diastolic filling pressure and evidence of pulmonary or systemic venous congestion. Those that reduce afterload or increase myocardial. General measures for the management of heart failure is the same as usual. Education, explanation of nature of disease, treatment, and self-help strategy. Yes, because it becomes a chronic symptoms. That's why the self-help is very important for this patient. Diet, good general nutrition and weight reduction of the obese patient, avoidance of high salt food and added salt, especially for patients with severe and congestive heart failure. Alcohol, same as usual. Moderation or elimination of alcohol consumption. Alcohol-induced cardiomyopathy requires abstinence. Smoking, cessation, exercise, regular moderate aerobic exercise within limit of symptoms. Vaccination, considered influenza and pneumococcal vaccination. The drug that is used in chronic heart failure are the angiotensin receptor blocker chronic heart failure. Compared with ACE inhibitor, enzyme inhibitor, ARB are the better tolerated and have similar efficacy in reducing cardiovascular events. ARBs reduce cardiovascular morbidity and mortality in patients with symptomatic heart failure who are intolerant to ACE inhibitors. Unfortunately, they share all the more serious adverse effects of ACE inhibitor, including renal dysfunction and hyperkalemia. ARB are normally used as an alternative to ACE inhibitor, but two can be combined in patients with resistant or recurrent heart failure. Other than these two drugs, we can use vasodilator therapy, such as nitrates, beta adenocyte blocker therapy, such as beta blocker, ivabradine in case of heart failure. Digoxin can be used provide to control in patient with heart failure and atrial fibrillation, especially in patient with valvular disease. Amiodarone can be used. Implantable cardiac defibrillator and resynchronization therapy. Coronary revascularization in case of patient with ischemic heart disease. And last of all, we can use the heart transplantation. It is very complicated things, and it is a lengthy process. In case of is, complicated ways because the possibility of rejection, accelerated atherosclerosis, and infection rate is high. Even in first world, you have to wait for a long time for the heart transplantation. Those which, after excluding those, there is another form of treatment is possible is ventricular assisted device, which is prepared if you are in need of heart transplantation, but it is not possible because of the lack of donor, you have to wait for the long time. Then is the breathing device is the ventricular assisted device, which will give you extra time to take the time before the heart transplantation is possible. So the ventricular assisted device or VAD has a bridge to cardiac transplantation, potential long-term therapy, short-term restoration therapy, following a potentially reversible insult or viral myocarditis. You can say it's a bridge device and establish a bridge between the time of transplantation. Comes to the complication of the heart failures. In advanced heart failure, the following may occur. Renal failure is caused by poor renal perfusion due to low cardiac output and may be exacerbated by diuretic therapy, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor, and angiotensin receptor blocker. Hypokalemia may take place hypokalemia due to use of diuretics and other drugs. Hyperkalemia might take place because of use of ACE inhibitor and spironolactone diuretic therapy, drug used in diuretics. Hyponatremia is also due to use of diuretics. Impaired liver function is caused by hepatic venous congestion and poor atrial perfusion, which frequently causes mild jaundice and abnormal liver function test. Reduced synthesis of clotting factor can make anticoagulant control difficult. Thromboembolism. Deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism may occur due to effect of low cardiac output and enforced immobility. Systemic emboli occurs in patients with atrial fibrillation and flutter or with intracardiac thrombus complicating conditions such as mitral stenosis, myocardial infarction, and left ventricular aneurysm. Atrial and ventricular arrhythmias are very common and may be related to electrolyte changes, that is the hypokalemia and hyperkalemia and hypomagnesemia. The underlying cardiac disease and the pro-arrhythmic effect of sympathetic activation. Atrial fibrillation occurs in approximately 20% of patients with heart failure and causes further impairment of cardiac function. Sudden death occurs in up to 50% of patients with heart failure and is often due to ventricular arrhythmia. Frequent ventricular ectopic beats and runs of non-sustained ventricular tachycardia are common finding in patients with heart failure and are associated with adverse prognosis. Basically, the arrhythmias are the most vulnerable and devastating effect on heart failure. Type of arrhythmias can be happened, especially the atrial fibrillation, unsustained BT. Basically, it happens due to electrolyte changes. So these are the complications we have seen in our daily practice. So that's all for today's lecture. Hopefully, we will see you in next class, another topics.